Most seniors spend hours decluttering every week, sorting, stacking, even boxing things up, yet their homes still feel just as heavy. Have you ever noticed that no matter how hard you work, the clutter seems to creep back in like it never left? That's because many of us over 60 fall into the same hidden traps, tasks that look like progress but secretly keep us stuck in a cycle of clutter. The truth is, not all decluttering is useful. In fact, some of the things you've been doing for years are nothing more than busy work dressed up as productivity. And here's the surprising part, it's not your fault. You were taught to keep things neat, to take care of belongings, to save for later. But what worked in your 30s or 40s often works against you now. At this stage of life, clutter doesn't just take up space, it steals your time, your energy, and even your peace of mind. Think about it, are you really decluttering, or are you just moving the weight around? Today, I'm going to reveal 7 of the most common traps seniors fall into when trying to declutter. These are the useless tasks that waste your effort, drain your motivation, and leave you wondering why your house still feels the same no matter how much you've done. Some of these will surprise you, and one in particular will probably make you laugh when you realize you've been doing it for years. But here's the good news, once you recognize them, you can finally break free. You can stop spending your weekends shuffling piles around and start focusing on the things that actually create freedom. So stay with me, because the next few minutes might completely change the way you approach decluttering. And before we dive in, hit like and subscribe right now, because you don't want to waste another year repeating the same mistakes. Alaric Penmore is 71 years old, a retired school principal from a small town in Kentucky. For decades, he was the man everyone turned to for order and discipline, the one who could straighten out a classroom full of restless teenagers with just a look. Yet when he finally settled into retirement, he faced a different kind of challenge, one no handbook had ever prepared him for, the quiet weight of clutter that had built up over a lifetime. Determined to reclaim his home, Alaric threw himself into decluttering. He mapped out entire weekends, bought new storage bins, even labeled boxes with his careful principal's handwriting. For 3 straight months, he worked tirelessly, shifting, sorting, stacking. And yet, at the end of every session, he'd sit down in his armchair, look around, and feel the same heaviness pressing in on him. The house wasn't any lighter, and neither was his heart. What Alaric didn't realize was that he wasn't really decluttering, he was performing the motions of it. He was cleaning before deciding, boxing up junk that never left the house, and moving piles from one room to another as if shuffling chairs in a classroom would change the lesson. He was working hard, but not moving forward. And that frustration is something many seniors over 60 know all too well. Maybe you've felt it too, the disappointment of spending hours tidying up, only to notice nothing has truly changed. Like Alaric, you may have believed that effort alone would set you free. But decluttering isn't about the hours spent or the number of bins filled. It's about making choices that actually release the weight, choices that bring space and peace back into your home. Alaric's story matters because it's not unique, it's deeply relatable. His mistakes are the same traps countless older adults fall into without realizing it. And as we walk through the 7 useless tasks that keep seniors trapped in clutter, you'll see how his journey unfolds, and how yours can take a different, freer path. Useless Task 1. Sorting junk into new boxes. Alaric thought he was making real progress when he bought a fresh stack of plastic bins from the local store. He lined them up in his garage, labeled them carefully, seasonal decor, old papers, miscellaneous keepsakes. At first glance, it looked like order had finally returned to his home. His shelves were neat, the piles were hidden, and his living room floor was clear again. But after a week, the feeling of relief faded, and the truth sank in, nothing had actually left the house. He hadn't decluttered, he had just disguised the clutter with new packaging. This is one of the most common traps seniors fall into. We've been taught that organization equals success. Boxes, bins, and baskets feel like tools of control, as if hiding things away is the same as setting them free. But ask yourself, are you really lighter, or is everything you didn't want to face now stacked neatly in the attic or tucked into the garage? Order without release is simply clutter with better clothes on. It takes up the same space, drains the same energy, and whispers the same weight into your daily life. For seniors, this trap carries even more risk. New boxes may give temporary comfort, but they also make it easier for clutter to multiply. You forget what's inside them. You add more to them. And slowly, the garage or spare bedroom turns into a maze of plastic bins, each one representing not freedom, but postponed decisions. Instead of confronting whether something truly belongs in your life, you've only delayed the choice. The emotional cost is real. Every unopened box becomes a quiet burden, a reminder that the work isn't done. It's like stacking up your worries in containers and hoping that out of sight will mean out of mind. But clutter doesn't work that way. Even when hidden, it weighs on you, nagging at your peace of mind and making your home feel smaller than it truly is. The fix is simple but powerful. When sorting, commit that every box must have a clear destination outside your home. Donation center, recycling bin, trash pickup, or a family member who truly wants it, but never just storage. If the only place an item is headed is into another box, it's not progress. It's busy work. So the next time you feel proud of neatly boxed junk, pause and ask, did I actually release anything, or did I just rearrange my burdens? Real freedom comes not from sorting, but from letting go. And the moment you embrace that, your home and your heart will feel instantly lighter. Useless task 2. Cleaning before deciding. When Alaric started working through his old belongings, his first instinct was to reach for the dust cloth. He would pick up a cracked vase, polish it until it gleamed, and then set it aside. He washed old Tupperware that had been in the cabinet for 20 years, scrubbed the glass on picture frames with fading photos, and even polished shoes he hadn't worn in over a decade. By the end of the day, his house looked tidier, but he felt utterly exhausted. And worse, none of those items had actually gone anywhere. They were just cleaner versions of the same clutter. This is a trap many seniors fall into without realizing it. For decades, you were taught to care for your things, clean them, preserve them, respect them. That instinct runs deep, especially for those who grew up in a time when every item had value because replacements weren't easy. But here's the hard truth: cleaning before deciding isn't decluttering. It's a form of procrastination disguised as productivity. You're spending your limited energy making an item look good, instead of asking the only question that really matters: does this deserve a place in my life now? The emotional weight behind this task is heavy. By polishing or washing an item, you subtly convince yourself it has more worth than it actually does. A faded sweater feels useful again once it's freshly laundered. A chipped dish feels like it belongs once it's been scrubbed. But deep down, you know you don't need them. They are relics of another season, tied to memories, not your current life. Cleaning tricks the mind into keeping what the heart already knows should be released. For seniors, the cost of this mistake is twofold. First, it drains your physical energy. After 60, every ounce of strength matters. Wasting it scrubbing things destined for donation leaves you too tired to make the hard choices that truly lighten your load. Second, it drains your emotional energy. Cleaning before deciding keeps you stuck in the past, caring for items that no longer serve your present. It feels safer to shine an old trinket than to confront the grief of letting it go. Here's the better way: flip the order. Decide first, clean later. If something is leaving your home, it doesn't deserve your time. Donate it as it is. Most charities and thrift stores will clean or sort donations anyway. And if it's staying, then yes, by all means give it the care it deserves. This simple shift not only saves energy, it also forces clarity. Instead of wasting an afternoon polishing items that never leave, you free yourself to focus on the things that truly matter. So the next time you catch yourself dusting or washing something mid-declutter, pause and ask, am I keeping this because it matters, or just because it looks cleaner now? Remember, the decision matters more than the shine. Freedom doesn't come from polishing the past, it comes from choosing what belongs in your future. Useless task 3. Keeping just-in-case appliances. Alaric's kitchen was his pride for years. He and his late wife used to host potluck dinners for teachers, Sunday church gatherings, and family holidays. Back then, every appliance had a purpose: the bread maker for fresh loaves on Saturday mornings, the giant roaster for Thanksgiving turkeys, the old blender for milkshakes when the grandkids visited. But when life slowed down, the gatherings grew fewer, and tastes changed. The appliances stayed, stacked on shelves, hidden in cupboards, quietly collecting dust. Whenever he opened a cabinet, he told himself the same story many seniors repeat: "I'll keep it just in case." This mindset feels safe, but it's one of the biggest traps after 60. The bread maker you haven't touched in 10 years, the microwave you replaced but never threw out, the ice cream machine you swore you'd use with the grandkids, they're all taking up precious space in your daily life. And here's the truth: just in case almost never comes. Months pass, years pass, and those appliances remain exactly where they are, unused. They don't serve your present, but they steal from your present by crowding your cabinets, cluttering your counters, and draining your energy every time you look for what you actually need. The emotional side of this trap is powerful. For many seniors, these appliances are tied to memories of family meals, celebrations, or a time when energy was endless and homes were full. Getting rid of them can feel like letting go of those moments. But here's the fresh perspective: the memories live in you, not in the bread maker. Holding on to bulky gadgets doesn't bring the past back, it only weighs down the present. There's also the hidden cost of safety. Crammed cupboards and overstuffed pantries can become hazards. Heavy, outdated appliances are harder to lift and increase the risk of falls or accidents. At a stage in life when health and mobility matter more than ever, keeping just-in-case items can actually work against your independence. So what's the fix? Choose honesty over maybe. Ask yourself, when was the last time I actually used this? If the answer is measured in years, not months, it's time to release it. Keep the tools that serve your everyday life now: the coffee maker you use each morning, the skillet you reach for every dinner. Let the rest go to donation centers, second-hand shops, or family members who will put them to use. Someone else's just-in-case might be today's blessing. Alaric finally parted with his bread maker after realizing he hadn't baked in a decade. The space it freed up gave him more joy than the machine ever could. That's the transformation waiting for you too: less clutter, more room to breathe, and a kitchen that serves the life you're living today, not the one you left behind. Useless task 4: shuffling clutter from one room to another. When Alaric first began decluttering, he thought he was making real headway. His living room looked open for the first time in years. The coffee table was clear, the books were stacked neatly, and the old exercise bike no longer blocked the window. He felt lighter, until he walked into his garage. All the things that had once crowded his living room were now piled against the walls out there. Instead of facing the hard choices, he had simply relocated his clutter. What looked like progress was really just a shift in scenery. This is one of the most deceptive tasks seniors fall into after 60. It feels good in the moment: moving a box from the hallway to the spare bedroom, sliding a bag into the attic, or stacking bins in the basement. The room you just cleared looks better instantly, and that small relief convinces you that you're winning the battle. But step back and ask yourself, did anything actually leave my home? If the answer is no, then you haven't decluttered, you've only delayed. The emotional trap here is subtle but powerful. For many older adults, moving clutter into another space is a way to avoid the guilt of letting go. "I'll deal with it later," we say, or "maybe I'll need it someday." In reality, those items often stay hidden for years, silently weighing on your mind. Every time you walk past the garage or attic door, you feel that unfinished work pressing down, even if you don't open the door. And here's where it gets even more serious: shuffling clutter can create safety risks. Seniors often stack heavy boxes in basements, balance bins on high garage shelves, or cram spare rooms so full that walking through them becomes hazardous. The effort of moving those objects drains energy, and the piles themselves can increase the risk of falls, which are already one of the greatest dangers for older adults. What feels like a shortcut to peace actually plants seeds of stress and danger in another part of your home. The solution is direct but freeing. If an item leaves one room, it should also leave your house. Instead of moving it to the garage, put it in your car for a donation drop-off. Instead of stacking boxes in the attic, place them by the curb for recycling or trash pickup. If you truly need a holding space, set a firm time limit, no more than a week, and commit to clearing it completely. Alaric discovered this the hard way when his garage became so cluttered that he couldn't even park his car inside during winter. Only when he made the rule, out of the room means out of the house, did the cycle finally break. That one change turned false progress into real freedom. So the next time you're tempted to shuffle items into another room, pause and remember, relocation isn't release. Don't move your burdens around, remove them altogether. That's where true lightness begins. Useless Task 5. Creating overly complicated sorting categories. Alaric thought he had cracked the code when he set up his sorting system. He cleared the dining table, brought out sticky notes, and began labeling piles with precision. One for his children, one for the church rummage sale, one for his neighbor who might like this, one for a future yard sale, and even one for items he might repair someday. The table filled up quickly, the categories grew more specific, and before long the entire room looked like a warehouse. Instead of simplifying his home, Alaric had created a new system of clutter. This is a trap many seniors slip into because it feels smart, organized, even responsible. It makes you believe you're being thoughtful about where everything goes. After all, why toss a sweater if your niece could wear it? Why donate a lamp if a friend might use it? But the problem is that every new category delays the moment of release. Instead of making one firm decision, keep or let go, you've added layers of hesitation. Each pile becomes another future task that demands follow-up, and suddenly you're not decluttering at all. You're project managing clutter. The emotional appeal of this trap is powerful. Creating categories makes us feel generous and considerate. Seniors especially want to give items to people they love or communities they care about. But generosity can quickly become another form of procrastination. That sweater for your niece might sit in a bag for 6 months, never delivered. The box for the neighbor might collect dust until you forget why you set it aside. The yard sale pile? It often lingers for years, waiting for an event that may never happen. What started as kindness turns into a burden. More piles, more guilt, more unfinished business. For those over 60, this habit is especially draining. Managing dozens of piles adds both physical and mental strain. It consumes your energy, fills your rooms, and steals the sense of completion you were craving. Instead of walking away lighter, you walk away with the weight of too many plans. The solution is elegant in its simplicity. Reduce your categories to just 2, keep or let go. If something is worth keeping, give it space in your home. If not, release it immediately. Donation centers, charities, and recycling facilities exist to make this easy. You don't have to orchestrate where every single item goes. By simplifying, you create momentum, and momentum is what brings freedom. Alaric eventually realized that his complicated piles were keeping him stuck. Once he forced himself to stop overthinking and just decide, keep or let go, the process sped up dramatically. His dining table cleared, his home felt lighter, and for the first time in months, he could breathe without seeing clutter waiting for him in every corner. So the next time you catch yourself making piles for every possible person and occasion, pause and ask, am I decluttering or am I just complicating the clutter? Remember, freedom doesn't come from endless categories. It comes from clear decisions. 2 choices. Keep or let go. That's all you need. Useless Task 6. Saving good bags and packaging. When Alaric opened the closet in his spare bedroom, he laughed at first. Inside were stacks of paper shopping bags from department stores, a bundle of plastic grocery sacks tied together, gift boxes from past Christmases, and rolls of ribbon carefully tucked into drawers. He told himself what so many seniors do, these are good bags, I might need them one day. But that one day never seemed to come. Instead, the pile grew quietly year after year, multiplying in the background until the closet could barely shut. This is one of the sneakiest forms of clutter because it disguises itself as practicality. Bags and boxes feel useful. After all, who hasn't reused a tote or wrapped a gift with leftover ribbon? The problem isn't saving a few, it's saving all of them. Over time, seniors build entire collections of just-in-case packaging that never gets used, turning free items into a mountain of unnecessary weight. What starts as thriftiness slowly becomes hoarding. The emotional layer here runs deep. For many older adults, saving bags is tied to values of frugality and resourcefulness. Growing up in times when waste was unthinkable, it feels almost irresponsible to throw away a perfectly good box or sturdy shopping bag. Keeping them feels like being prepared, like honoring the lessons of the past. But in truth, those piles don't represent wisdom. They represent delayed decisions and clutter hiding behind a mask of usefulness. And the reality is, these collections rarely serve the purpose you imagine. The bag you saved for a future trip gets buried under 20 more. The gift box you held onto for next Christmas is forgotten when December rolls around and you buy new wrapping anyway. Meanwhile, the bags keep multiplying, taking up space in closets, pantries, and drawers that could be used for things you actually need. For seniors, the danger isn't just wasted space, it's stress and even safety. Overstuffed closets can become difficult to manage, and piles of bags increase the risk of tripping or falling. The more clutter you keep just in case, the less room you have for daily essentials that truly support your life today. The solution is to set strict limits. Choose a small container or single drawer for bags and packaging. Once it's full, that's it, no more saving. Keep only what you know you'll actually use in the next few months, not someday. Donate the extras to thrift shops that bag items for customers, recycle what you can, and free up space immediately. By doing this, you transform your home from a storage unit for future usefulness into a space designed for present living. Alaric eventually faced his closet full of good bags and realized that the clutter wasn't about bags at all, it was about fear of waste. Once he let go of that fear, he discovered something powerful. Freedom feels far more valuable than any free bag could ever be. And that lesson is one every senior deserves to carry, instead of carrying clutter disguised as usefulness. Useless Task 7. Decluttering alone in silence. On one Saturday morning, Alaric pulled out the boxes from his garage and told himself, "Today is the day." He made coffee, sat in the quiet, and began sorting through old e-books, knickknacks, and kitchenware. The silence was heavy. Without anyone to talk to, every item seemed louder, every memory more intense. By lunchtime, the work felt endless. By evening, his energy was gone, his mood was low, and the boxes were only half finished. What should have felt like progress instead left him drained and discouraged. This is a mistake countless seniors make, trying to declutter in complete isolation. It seems practical. After all, you're the one who owns the things, so why involve anyone else? But decluttering is not just a physical act, it's an emotional journey. Doing it alone magnifies the weight of every memory, every decision, every "should I keep this" moment. The silence around you doesn't help, it amplifies the loneliness. When you're over 60, that loneliness can be even sharper. Your spouse may no longer be there, children may live far away, and the house that once rang with voices may now echo with quiet. Facing years of possessions in that silence makes decluttering not just harder, but painful. It slows progress to a crawl and turns what could be a freeing process into an exhausting battle with your own emotions. The fresh approach is to break the silence. Invite support into the process. That could mean asking a close friend or sibling to join you for an afternoon. It might mean calling a grandchild on video chat while you sort through a box, letting them laugh at old photos and ask questions about your stories as you decide what stays and what goes. Even playing your favorite music or a podcast can shift the atmosphere, making the task feel lighter and less lonely. There's also a hidden benefit: accountability. When someone else is with you, whether physically or virtually, it's harder to stall, second-guess, or drift into endless reminiscing. A buddy keeps you moving forward. And for seniors, involving loved ones also turns decluttering into connection, an opportunity to pass down stories, explain the meaning behind objects, and share memories instead of carrying them alone. Alaric discovered this when his daughter suggested joining him on a Saturday video call. She asked questions about old teaching awards, laughed with him over forgotten mementos, and gently encouraged him to let go of things he didn't need. What had once felt like a lonely chore became a moment of bonding. By the end, he wasn't just lighter in his home, he felt lighter in his heart. Decluttering is not meant to be punishment. It's meant to be release. Doing it alone in silence only magnifies the burden. Doing it with company, whether that's a friend, a grandchild, or even a favorite playlist, turns it into something hopeful, even joyful. So the next time you're tempted to tackle it by yourself, remember, clutter thrives in silence, but freedom grows in connection. Alaric's turning point didn't come with one dramatic gesture. It came the day he stopped mistaking movement for progress. He realized that shuffling boxes from room to room, endlessly polishing old items, or creating complicated piles wasn't setting him free. It was chaining him to the same cycle of busy work that had exhausted him for months. When he finally let go of those useless tasks, everything changed. For the first time, his house didn't just look tidier, it felt lighter, calmer, and alive again. The difference was striking. Walking through his hallway no longer meant squeezing past boxes. Opening a closet didn't bring an avalanche of just-in-case bags. His kitchen counters no longer carried appliances that hadn't been touched in a decade. Each room seemed to breathe with him. And what surprised him most wasn't just the physical space he gained, but the mental clarity. Without clutter lurking in every corner, his days felt less heavy. Decisions became easier. He found joy in small routines again, making morning coffee, reading by the window, or sitting in his favorite chair without piles crowding his view. This is the deeper truth of decluttering after 60. It isn't about working harder, sorting more, or spending endless weekends rearranging. It's about recognizing which tasks are useless, which ones only disguise clutter, and refusing to waste your precious energy on them. At this stage of life, time and strength are too valuable to be spent dusting, shifting, or storing things that no longer serve you. Freedom doesn't come from effort alone, it comes from clarity. And here's the key message to carry with you. Decluttering after 60 isn't about working harder, it's about focusing on what truly sets you free. It's about creating space for peace, safety, and joy in the years ahead. It's about releasing what weighs you down so you can hold onto what lifts you up, the memories, the people, and the daily comforts that actually matter. Alaric's story proves it's possible. He didn't become lighter by accident, he became lighter by changing his approach. You can too. Stop overcomplicating. Stop repeating tasks that lead nowhere. Choose the path that frees your space and your spirit. And now, here's your moment to act. If this opened your eyes, tap like right now. It tells YouTube this wisdom matters. Share this with a friend over 60 who deserves freedom from clutter, and subscribe to Wise Aging Seniors. Because aging should be about living fully, not staying trapped in endless clutter.